Before most of the world begins to rise and shine, a group of hard workers begins to start the day. Farmers work long hours, tending to their field, to their livestock. But what happens when they find out one of their animals is deceased? Not just deceased, but mutilated. Mutilated in such a manner that isn't typical of any known predator. I have 3 stories for you this evening, so please sit back and relax. The day after he understood that one of his calves was absent in July 2014, a farmer in Missouri made the dreary revelation of its ruined carcass while doing his day-to-day count of his herd. As he advanced over the bird's area, he found the damaged calf in very bad shape. Assessment of the calf uncovered a few terrible wounds. Its interior organs had been neatly eliminated, and its whole body had been totally depleted of blood. The farmer detailed the case to a nearby radio broadcast, which thus made a report to MUFON. Because of a comparative episodes including other dairy cattle proprietors and their groups nearby, the farmer was said to have sold each of his calves before he lost any more cattle. The territory of Missouri was supposed to be on a UFO alert rating of 3 at the hour of the occurrences. 25 reports of UFO sightings were made in that time of the month. UFO alert ratings range from 1 to 5, according to this equivalent information. Missouri had the 4th most noteworthy measure of sightings in the United States during this period. In September 2014, Argentinian radio broadcast radio Amanecer reported a few instances of cow mutilations. One specifically, which occurred in Reconquista, Santa Fe, implied that some sort of unusual strange movement had occurred in the days paving the way to the genuine assault. The cow was said to have been giving serious indications of pain on Friday, May 15th. It seemed by all accounts to be shaking and was for the most part shaken and confounded. Following the end of the week, on Monday, May 18th, the cow was seen as dead, with the exception of its face and jaw, which had very precise slices. During that very end of the week, 2 other dairy cattle ranchers were said to have made the same reports of very much like troubling disclosures of their animals, each with similar exact careful wounds. One of these was at Osvaldo Meraga Farm in Villa Ocampo Local. The other was in Tartagal Local, around 20 kilometers or 12 miles away, claimed by the Miranda family, according to the report. There have been extra accounts of more of this going on, tracing all the way back to 2014, with not a real obvious reason for the terrible wounds to any of these creatures. By the time the Animal Pathology Field Unit, APFU, declared in 2013 that they strongly thought aliens were responsible for the assaults, they had been researching animal mutilations in Wales for over a decade. According to the APFU's Phil Hoyle, the group is investigating the possibility of a UFO link, in part because of the exact form of the injuries and what seems to be a lack of blood where the animals were discovered. Farmers had reported weird lights above their property around the same time the mutilations were supposed to have occurred. And members of another town had seen odd things moving in and out of the water, according to him. The Western Mail quoted Hoyle as saying, "These are not done by a demonic organization. Something weird is going on, whether it is done by aliens, the military, or some kind of clandestine surveillance." Hoyle even went so far as to say that, along with the United States, Wales has a hotbed for bizarre animal mutilation. A dead lamb was discovered in Betgellet in 2001 as an example of similar mutilations. An unusual, oval-shaped hole was discovered in its hip bone, which was caused by an unknown process. Brook Farm in Dyfed lost a total of 6 rams and 6 ewes over the course of a week in 2002, all of which were discovered with exact incisions to their mouths and tongues. 4 sheep were discovered dead in 2009 at Woodside Farm, with portions of their faces gone Each year, between 15 and 20 of the farmer's sheep would suddenly vanish, according to him. With no end in sight to these mutilations, farmers continue to have to deal with such problems. Whether it's aliens or known terrestrial predators, they still have these problems and they still have to deal with these issues. We can only hope one day they can get real answers, and hopefully these answers will solve their problems, and maybe we can get answers as well. I hope you've enjoyed episode 4 on cattle mutilation, and I will see you on the next one. Until then, be safe and have a creepy night.